Hey everyone, the case of Panatron and Cheow explores the legal doctrine of fraudulent misrepresentation and how false statements can induce financial losses. Imagine investing a significant sum into a company only to later realize that the investment was based on misleading information. Would you have legal recourse? This case provides a clear answer. Panatron Pte Ltd was a company engaged in the business of dealing in automatic condenser cleaning system. Phua Mong Seng, its founder and managing director, had persuaded two individuals, Lee and Yin, to invest in Panatron by subscribing for its shares. Both Lee and Yin were former employees of Panatron. Eventually, they left the company and became involved in a competing business. Panatron sued them for conspiracy, and in response, Lee and Yin, the two former employees, counterclaimed against Panatron and Phua, alleging that fraudulent misrepresentations had induced them to invest in the company Panatron. The High Court dismissed Panatron's conspiracy claim and allowed the counterclaim for fraudulent misrepresentation. Dissatisfied with the decision, Panatron and Phua appealed to the Court of Appeal. At the heart of the case was whether Phua had fraudulently misrepresented Panatron's financial standing and business prospects to induce Lee and Yin to invest in it. The court had to determine whether the representations were false, whether Phua knowingly or recklessly made these statements, and whether Lee and Yin had relied on these representations in making the investment. Lee and Yin argued that Phua falsely represented Panatron as being more profitable than it was. He also suggested that if Lee did not invest immediately, the other directors might object to his investment at a favorable price. Another claim was that an investor named Ivan Khoo had already injected $200,000 into Panatron, bringing its issued capital to $2 million, when in reality, this was not true. Additionally, Phua claimed to have personally invested more than $500,000 in the company Panatron, but in reality, his investment was much lower. Yin alleged that Phua told him that Panatron had 120 customers and significant orders, and had acquired a major stake in Synapse Resources Pte Ltd, and that its ball technique system business was highly profitable. Each of these statements turned out to be false. Panatron and Phua counter-argued that both Lee and Yin were experienced businessmen who should have independently verified Panatron's financial status before investing. Panatron and Phua argued that even if these false statements were made, they were not the sole reason that Lee and Yin decided to invest. Their argument was that both men relied on their own expertise and judgment in making their decisions, rather than purely on Phua's representations. The Court of Appeal dismissed the appeal and upheld the High Court's ruling. It reaffirmed the key elements required to prove fraudulent misrepresentation. First, there must be a representation of fact made by words or conduct. Second, the representation must have been intended to be acted upon. Third, the claimant must have acted upon it. Fourth, the claimant must have suffered damage as a result of acting on the misrepresentation. Fifth, the representation must have been knowingly false or made recklessly. The court found that Phua had indeed made the misrepresentations and that they were false. He either knew they were false or acted recklessly without caring whether or not they were true. The argument that Lee and Yin should have independently verified the representations was not a valid defense. The law only requires that the misrepresentation played a real and substantial part in inducing the investment decision, not that it was the sole reason. This case highlights the importance of honesty in business dealings. False representations, even when made with confidence, will eventually be exposed. Trust is the foundation of all business relationships, and when it is broken, legal consequences follow. It also serves as a reminder that perception is not reality. Lee and Yin believed they were entering into a promising investment, but what they perceived as solid ground was in fact an illusion. This reflects a deeper truth about how easily people are led by expectations, appearances, and unverified promises. There's also a lesson about attachment to wealth and success. In their pursuit of financial growth, Li and Yin invested based on assurances that later proved to be untrue. Their desire for a secure investment led them into a situation where they faced financial loss and costly legal battles. This is a reflection of how clinging to external achievements and material success often leads to suffering when reality does not align with expectation. The ruling in this case reinforces a fundamental legal principle. Truth matters. Those who knowingly make false statements to induce action will be held accountable. It also emphasizes that due diligence is important, but it does not excuse deceitful conduct. In the end, reality prevails, and only those who act with honesty and integrity will build lasting success. Thank you for joining me in this case summary. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.